we don't have a Secretary General. Yeah. He's keeping all the meetings. So we can't be in a situation where the party is having conversations, discussions, resolutions, but the person who's supposed to speak them is speaking in the exact opposite direction. What would have been more decent was for the Secretary General to say, look, my position is no longer tenable because the resolutions the party is making are not things that I can communicate.
Have you had words with him? And I don't mean in the negative. I don't mean words like, have you had an argument with him? I mean, have you spoken with him? Because prior to all of this fiasco, I would imagine that you used to have conversations.
Yes.
Party chair with the party secretary general would have definitely been in communication all the time.
Yes, we had conversations.
Do you speak now?
Not much, no.
And what is the fundamental reason for that? Aside from him being far off, because we can disagree on something fundamentally, but we can still have a conversation. But in this case, you're not talking to each other. It sounds like there may be a little bit more than just difference of opinion.
We haven't spoken lately, but Sifuna is still Senator of Nairobi. I still have to, be responsible to the Senate, for example. So we can still speak on those issues.
Interestingly enough,
I speak with Senator Osotsi all the time. About these issues, but even our appearances in the Senate and so on and so forth. We speak all the time.
Is there any truth to you not then going towards to the Senate PAC for questions around Homa Bay?
Yeah. What happened is the Council of Governors, you saw, raised some issues around the CPAC. They said, we can appear in all the other committees, but they wanted us to have a conversation with the leadership of the Senate on some issues around the CPAC before we appear. So it's not only Homa Bay. If you look at all the counties, majority of the counties have not been able to appear because we are waiting. Maybe next week we will have this meeting so that we iron out some of the issues that were emerging before we proceed. This was a collective decision of the Council of Governors. Last week I was in the Senate. I was appearing before the Committee on Lands. This week I'll be appearing on another committee, or next week I'll be appearing on another committee. So I have never run away. Even CPAC, I have appeared many times before Sifuna himself and the others. I appear because I'm able to defend my record in Homa Bay. So nothing stops me from appearing. But in this particular case, there's a collective decision of the Council of Governors. And I have to be part of the collective responsibility of the Council.
But Governor, but when it comes to accountability in the Constitution, is there anything like the Council of Governors? Because there are some governors who are appearing. Okay, I happen to cover CPAC. There are some governors who are appearing and saying this is a personal responsibility on accountability. They're not going with the wave of a Council of Governors because according to the Constitution, there's nothing like the Council of Governors.
Yeah.
So when it comes to personal responsibility, do you find the need in you to appear for the sake of the residents of Homa Bay?
I will appear as soon as the matter is resolved. And I think the council exists, that we have been working on putting it in law. But the council exists, and even the Senate knows that they operate all the time with the Council of Governors. So as soon as we are able to resolve the issues that are on the table, we will appear. We are just here. We are going nowhere. We will go, and the accounts are there.
For 20 years, this is the first time that we are seeing a split in ODM, and it's really sad when we're having a certain faction that says they want this and another faction clearly saying that they want another. You are part of the team that initially, not too long ago, were criticizing the Kenya Kwanza government, but now, of course, you're siding with the broad-based government, and now you're aligning with the president and his policies. One may ask, where did all things change? And then number two, when Raila Odinga was alive, as much as he was still in the broad-based government, he never shied off from criticizing the government. So far from your end, is everything sailing smoothly because we've never had to criticize anything about the broad-based government?
Yeah, so let me start by the first point you raised, that this is 20 years and ODM has never split. I want to tell you that all these people you see, including William Ruto, who are founder members of ODM, whether it's Ruto, whether it's Musalia, whether it's... Look at every leader across this country. They founded many of them founded the ODM party. But they left at some point, and they grew to, become whoever they are today. Some also fell off. You remember we had secretaries general like Ababu and the others. They've fallen off along the way. So this is not the first time that 2 or 3 people feel like they have to leave the party, or they have to take a different position. So that position, even when Baba was here, there were people who, left, and Baba continued to consolidate and still build on the party. So this is not unique. It's not the first time. Coming on to the issue of the broad-based government and that I have been a critic. It is true. I did not vote for William Ruto. Neither did I vote for the broad-based the Kenya Kwanza government. I've also been a member of parliament for a long time on ODM, and I have been a fierce critic of regime after regime because we've been in the opposition largely, and that is our responsibility. Now, when we for purposes of stabilizing the country in 2024 moved into a broad-based arrangement, then we have to find points of convergence. And you're right that every time there was something that went wrong, Baba always said no. And even when things go wrong, for example, even on my end, when I feel, for example, there's infringement on our party's basis, or when I feel something is wrong, I may not come to public criticism. Sometimes I do come to public criticism, but many times I raise it in the relevant places that I feel that this needs to be corrected or this needs to be worked on. If, for example, on devolution, we have said publicly we want the monies to be increased, and that one we continue to push. But Grace, we are part of this broad-based government as ODM. It's good for people not to be. It's good for us not to cheat the public, to come here and say, no, we are not part of it. No, we only sent people. No, we only did this. It's just important for us to tell the public the truth, that ODM, our deputy party leaders are now ministers in government, people who are our deputy party leaders, our chairman, our minority leader. We are part of the broad-based government. That is one. And therefore, as much as possible, we have to support what we think is positive around it.
Does it fall in line with what Raila Odinga fought for the longest time? And I asked that question piggybacked on another. When the things that Edwin Sifuna, who, by the way, is he the Secretary General of ODM or not?
We removed him as Secretary General and he went to court. So he's a court Secretary General at the moment.
He's a court-agreed, court-allowed Secretary General of ODM?
He's a court-agreed. And the matter will be determined today. Yeah.
So as the other side of the leadership of ODM, you do not recognize Edwin Sifuna as the Secretary General?
No, because we removed him, and we removed him for reasons that we stated, okay? And which is that it was no longer tenable for him to speak on behalf of the party, because any party decisions, and by the way, it could be me, for example, the party could take a position that is different from what I believe. And I would say, look, I can no longer speak, this language. I'm sorry. So I cannot, it is no longer tenable for me to hold this position. I will